to tonight's edition of Set Play. Man on, build your wall and get ready to play ball. Our season judges are Stratton Palmer and Michael Hall.
Hello there, Jamaica. Good evening. My name is Wayne Walker, and welcome to the grand finale in the series Set Play, CVMTV's newest game show celebrating this year's World Cup football finals over in South Africa. Now, the players are vying for a chance to be a part of CVMTV's cast of analysts for the FIFA World Cup 2010. Our judges tonight, Stratton Palmer and Michael Hall. Now, we started out with 16 young, aspiring football talents, and we're down to just 2. Simon Preston out of Hillel Academy and Naranda Brown out of Raciz High School in Lucy, Hanover. The winner of tonight's game will receive an education grant valued at $50,000 from Supreme Ventures Limited, a BlackBerry mobile handset from Digicel, a gift basket from the Hilton Kingston Hotel, along with the Set Play Champion Trophy. All 4 contestants who made it all the way up to the semifinals will also receive prizes. It's Narando against Simon, Raciz against Hillel. When we come back, we'll get straight into the final of Set Play, the opening segment. Welcome back. This is Set Play, CVMTV's newest football game show. It's the grand finale of the competition. Now, in this section, the contestants will be allotted 2 points for each correct answer. Now, if the answer is incorrect, they won't lose a point. Simon Preston of Hillel Academy will get the game going. Simon, Lev Yashin played at the World Cup for which country?
The former USSR.
Former USSR, that's correct. Narando, what significant event happened in 1938 in regards to the host countries?
They were given automatic qualification.
For the first time, correct. Simon of Hillel, give the nickname for the Trinidad and Tobago squad which just failed to make it to Italy 1990.
Strike Squad.
Strike Squad is correct. Naranda Brown, England is the only country to have had 3 referees in different World Cup finals. Give the years.
2010, 94, 98.
It's incorrect. It's 1974 in Germany, 54 also in Germany, 1950 in Brazil. Simon, who was Jamaica's kit sponsor for the 98 World Cup in France?
Kappa.
Kappa Lanzera. Narando, Rob Resenbrink scored the 1,000th goal in World Cup football history against Scotland at which World Cup?
98.
Incorrect. 1978 in Argentina. Simon, Oliver Kahn of Germany was the first and only goalkeeper to win the Golden Ball. What World Cup tournament was that?
It was in the 2002 World Cup.
2002, correct. Back to you, Narando. The best young player at the 2006 World Cup football finals in Germany was?
Lukas Podolski.
Lukas Podolski. The World Cup Simon, this is yours. The World Cup trophy is 75% what?
Made out of gold.
75% made out of gold, correct. Narando, South America, Oceania, Africa, Europe, and Asia are 5 of the 6 World Cup qualifying confederations. Which is the 6th?
CAF. That's
incorrect. The CAF is still Africa, and I did say Africa. It's the CONCACAF.
Oh, okay.
Simon, give the number of countries that will have star crests on their jerseys at South Africa 2010.
9 countries.
It's actually 7, and the crest is about the teams who have won the World Cup. Narando, Brazil is one of 2 countries that have produced the most Golden Ball winners. Name the other country and how many winners?
Italy. 3.
Incorrect. Italy is correct, but it's 2. Simon of Hillel Academy, which African team was the first to win a match at the World Cup?
That would be Tunisia.
Tunisia, correct. Narando, Give the name of the only captain to lose 2 World Cup final games.
Karl-Heinz Rummenigge.
Karl-Heinz Rummenigge of Germany is correct. Simon, give the name of the Jamaican who worked as an assistant referee at the 1998 World Cup in France.
Owen Powell.
Owen Powell is correct. Narando, who got Jamaica's only red card at the 1998 World Cup finals in France?
Daryl Powell.
Daryl Powell was sent off against Argentina. That's correct. Simon, who is the only man to have played in 3 World Cup final games?
That would be Cafu.
Cafu over Brazil, 94, 98, and 2002. Narando, name the countries who have already won the FIFA World Cup.
Brazil, Italy, England, Argentina, Uruguay, Germany, and
Our time is up. It's France. That's the last winner. Simon, who scored the first goal ever in World Cup history?
That would be Lucien Leroux.
Correct. Narando, how many World Cup finals have Brazil contested?
7.
7 is correct. Back to Simon. Who is the first Jamaican footballer to be shown a card at the World Cup?
Dion Burton.
Dion Burton got it against Croatia. Narando, your turn. When Robert Prozinecki of Croatia scored against Jamaica in France 98, what record did he create?
The first to score for 2 countries.
Correct. Back to you, Simon. Which World Cup team is referred to as the Indomitable Lions of Africa?
That's Cameroon.
The Cameroon is correct. Narando, who was the star of the Colombian World Cup teams during the 1990s?
Carlos Valderrama.
Carlos Valderrama is correct. And we've come to the end of round number 1 in the grand finale of set play here on CVM TV. Let's have a quick look at the scores. Simon from Hillel Academy has 22 points and Naranda Brown on 14. Very, very exciting final developing here on set play on CVM TV. When we come back from this break, it will be time for round number 2. You're watching the final of set play here on CVM TV. Naranda Brown and Simon are the contestants. But before we go further in round number 2, let's just tell you that the judges have adjudicated on the question posed to Simon. How many countries will be wearing crests on their shirts at the World Cup? He said 9. It's actually correct. It's the difference between star and the crest. The star is indicative of the number of times the teams won the World Cup. So you'll see 5 stars on the shirt of Brazil and 2 on Argentina and so on and so forth. But 9 represents the number of international tournaments that the teams have won. And he said 9, and it's going to be 9. So it's correct. All right, the 2 you're seeing here, Simon and Narando, they're battling for the ultimate prize, a seat on CVM TV's set during the coverage of the World Cup 2010. They are already familiar faces with you, the fans of this show. And as I say, you've already been told a bit about them, but there's always something else you can find out about these 2 geniuses, maybe call them. Simon, you've gotten through to the final. You've proven time and time again that advancing is not it for you. You want the ultimate prize. How does it feel, though, to be contesting the final?
It feels very good to be in the final, but I must say words can't describe how it feels when I win it. But I'm happy with the amount of points I have so far, but I need to step up my pace.
I'm going to change the question. I was going to ask you something else, but there's something you said in the answer. You said when you win it.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I hope to. I'm not going to be overconfident about it.
Your father was an athlete at Calabar, was he not?
Yes, he was.
And he's here with you tonight.
Yes, he is.
And you have a bigger fan club than just your father.
Definitely.
Let's see if they'll be shouting tonight or they'll be crying tonight. Narando, you're all the way from Hanover. When Rassis used to do so well in the Costa Cup football, the entire Hanover was watching. Is it the same now?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Or is just members of your household?
Members of my community, members of Lewis, members of Rassis, members of the entire Cornwall County.
The show is that popular?
Yes, sir.
Or is it CVM that's popular down there? CVM.
Whichever way you put it.
Don't answer. I know what you're going to say. Which team you bring in the World Cup again?
Portugal.
Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo. All right, you're in the group of death.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to advance along with?
Brazil, I think I'll take along with
I
me.
hear you. Well, I want to see the Ivory Coast, but we'll see.
Okay.
CVM TV will have live coverage and exclusive one as well. All right? Why are Narando and Simon here? They're battling for that one prize, that spot on CVM TV's cast of analysts for the World Cup finals in South Africa. So let's get ready for round number 2. We'll see who gets a step closer to that ultimate prize. This is the round known as the rollover round. What it simply means is that each player will get 2 points for each correct answer. Now, if the player answers incorrectly, the question will be thrown to the next player without him losing his turn. The rollover question is valued at 1 point, but here the players can obtain as many as 3 points. Are you ready for round 2,
Yes,
gentlemen?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Narando,
Yes, sir.
come on. Are you
Yes,
ready?
sir. Yes, sir. I'm
Let's
always
go.
ready.
Simon, the first question goes to you. For World Cup 2018, how many countries have already submitted bids?
9 countries.
9 countries, that's correct, Narando. When were cards first introduced to the World Cup?
1970.
1970 is correct. Back to Simon. La Alba Celeste is the nickname of which World Cup team, and what does it mean?
It's a nickname for Argentina, and it means sky blue and white.
You are so bright, correct. Narando. In South Africa 2010, there are 2 African countries who made it to Germany 2006 that will not be present. Who are they?
Togo and Tunisia.
And that's correct. Simon, it's back to you. Which is the first and only time a World Cup winning team provided the top 2 scorers in the same tournament?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Which is the first and only time a World Cup winning team provided the top 2 scorers in that same World Cup that they won?
That was in the 2002 World Cup, and that was Ronaldo with 8 goals and Rivaldo with 5.
Correct. Narando, how much will FIFA give to the club teams of each player at the World Cup?
Club teams will get 1,000 euros per day per player.
Correct. Simon, each of the 32 teams at South Africa 2010 will receive $8 million. What's the prize money for reaching the quarterfinals?
$18 million.
$18 million is correct. Narando, give the name of the man who coached Brazil at the World Cup and then was hired by Jamaica to coach their team.
Sebastião Lazzaroni.
Sebastião Lazzaroni is correct. Simon, at what World Cup did Russia appear for the last time under the name USSR?
That would be the 1986 World Cup.
In Mexico, correct. Narando, what is the bronze ball handed out for at the World Cup?
The third best player, according to the votes.
Correct, sir. Simon, who is the oldest player to score a hat-trick at the World Cup finals?
His name is Tore Keller.
Tore Keller, Sweden. Correct. Narando, which famous England footballer will miss the World Cup final due to a most recent injury?
David Beckham.
David Beckham, correct. Simon, there are 2 countries who have played in 3 consecutive World Cup finals. Who are they?
They're Brazil and Germany.
Correct, sir. Narando, who was FIFA president during the 1970 World Cup finals in Mexico?
Sir Stanley Rose.
Correct. Simon, what's the middle name of the current Argentina national team coach?
Armando.
Armando is correct. Diego Armando Maradona. Narando, who won the first ever golden ball at the World Cup finals?
Paulo Rossi, 1982.
You're correct, sir. Simon, who won the bronze ball at the last World Cup in Germany?
Andrea Pirlo.
Oh, correct, of Italy. And Narando, true or false, Estadio do Maracanã is the smallest football stadium in World Cup history.
False.
Totally false. It's actually the biggest, and you're correct. We've come to the end of an exciting round number 2 in this, the grand finale of set play. We didn't even have an opportunity to roll 1 question. These guys are so brilliant. Let's look at the scores. 42 to Simon, 32 to Narando. Very, very, very interestingly poised. We're going to go for a break, and when we come back, we'll have the 3rd and final segment in this, the grand finale tonight of set play, right here on CVM TV. Welcome back to Set Play. We're in the final segment of the final game on Set Play 2010 here on the CVM TV. It's a section where players will get 5 minutes to answer as many questions as is possible. 2 points will be deducted for each incorrect answer, and 2 points will be added for each correct answer. Let's play ball. Just to remind you, the big prize here, a place on CVM TV's cast of analysts for the World Cup, and there's also an education grant for $50,000. It's now or never for these two, Simon Preston of Hillel Academy and Miranda Brown out of Rosse's. They've separated themselves from a cast of 16, which we started out with, and it's now down to the final two in the final segment. Let's go. The first World Cup was played in 1930. Who was the president of FIFA then? Simon.
Jules Rimet.
Jules Rimet. Who is the only man to have collected 3 World Cup winners' medals? Simon.
Pele.
The legendary Brazilian Pele. A chili pepper. Simon.
His name is PK.
And the question is, a chili pepper was used as the 1986 World Cup mascot. What's the name? PK. Didier. Simon again.
He plays for Ivory Coast.
For the Ivory Coast. Got away with that one. Didier Drogba is the captain of which World Cup team? The Ivory Coast is correct. For which World Cup team did Jean Miranda?
France.
France. The question, for which World Cup team did Jean Tigana play? France. He did so in 1982 and 1986. How many times did Vittorio Pozzo Miranda?
2.
The answer is 2, yes. And the question is, how many times did Vittorio Pozzo win the World Cup title as head coach? He did so with Italy. Give the name of the player who has scored. Miranda. Your time is up. It's Sir Jeff Hurst. Give the name of the player who scored the only hat trick in the World Cup final. He did so in 1966. So that's, you didn't get that right. Name the only stadium in world football to host 2 World Cup finals. Narando.
Estadio Azteca.
The Estadio Azteca is correct. Leo Binhaka. Narando.
Was coach of Trinidad.
The question is, that's correct. The question is, Leo Binhaka was the coach of which team that qualified for 2006 at the World Cup? Trinidad and Tobago. What's the name of the Jamaican referee? Narando.
Peter Prendergast.
Peter Prendergast is correct. What's the name of the Jamaican referee who worked at the 2002 World Cup finals? Which of the 3 CONCACAF teams in South Africa 2010? Narando.
Honduras.
Honduras is correct, and the question is, which of the 3 CONCACAF teams in South Africa 2010 will be handled by a foreign coach? Which player has scored the most goals in World Cup qualification? Narando.
Ali Daei.
Ali Daei of Iran with 35 is correct. At which World Cup were the champions decided by points? Narando.
1950.
1950, Brazil. How many times in World Cup history was the leading scorer a member? Simon.
4.
4 is correct. Well, let me do this again. How many times in World Cup history was a leading scorer a member of the eventual champions? Garrincha in 1962, Paulo Rossi 1982, and Ronaldo 2002. So the answer is, in fact, 3, not 4. That's incorrect. How old was Roger Miller? Narando.
42 and 39 days.
That's correct. And the question is, how old was Roger Miller when he became the oldest goal scorer at the World Cup finals? Cameroon and Holland are 2. Simon.
Denmark and Japan is also in their group.
The question is, Cameroon and Holland are 2 of the 4 teams in Group E for South Africa 2010. Who are the others?
Denmark and Japan.
Well, we'll leave that to the judges. Give the name of the first country ever to host the World Cup. Narando.
Mexico.
That is correct. The question is, give the name of the first country ever to host a World Cup tournament twice. Mexico. At what stage was Jamaica knocked out? Narando.
3rd round.
At what stage was Jamaica knocked out during qualifying for the 2010 World Cup finals? And you said the 3rd round?
Yes.
No, it's not correct.
Round.
They were knocked out at the semi-final round. The 3rd round would have been the final round.
Okay.
Which player came out of nowhere? Narando.
Salvatore Schillaci.
Salvatore Schillaci is correct. Which player came out of nowhere to be star of the 1990 Italy World Cup team? How many teams represented CONCACAF? Narando.
4.
4 is correct. How many teams represented CONCACAF at the last World Cup finals in Germany 2006? Name the country that was originally selected to. Narando.
Colombia.
Colombia is correct. The question is, name the country that was originally selected to host the 1986 World Cup, which eventually took place over in Mexico, Colombia. How many finals in the history of the World Cup have gone to Simon?
5.
5 is correct. Have gone to extra time. Which game in World Cup history was referred to as the Battle of Santiago? Simon?
Chile versus Italy.
1962, correct. Jamaica was one of 4 countries who qualified. Simon?
South Africa, Croatia, and Japan.
And that's correct. Jamaica was one of 4 countries who qualified for the World Cup for the first time in '98. Name the other 3. What is the age limit? Narando?
21 or less.
21 or less is correct. What is the age limit for the Outstanding Young Player Award at the World Cup? We have still one question that the judges are looking at. And before we give you the final scores, let's go to a quick break, give the judges the time to come to their decision. And when we come back, we'll give you that and wrap up this game. Welcome back to Set Play. Well, what do we have here? To begin with, the highest scoring game so far in the entire series, and it was left for the final to bring that to you. At the moment, the scores are showing 56 to Narando, 54 to Simon. However, the judges were adjudicating on the question. Cameroon and Holland are in the same group as which other 2 teams at the World Cup? Denmark and Japan. Simon answered it correctly. So he now moves up to 56 points, the same as the man from Hanover. So both are on 56 points, a total of 112 points between them. So we'll go for a casting question or sudden death, if you like. The first person to answer correctly will win the game. Similarly, if that person answers and it's incorrect, the other person wins. Here we go. There is one country that has never won the World Cup football. Narando?
Brazil.
Incorrect. The question is, there is one country who have never won the World Cup, yet find itself at the top of the FIFA World Ranking. The answer to that question is Spain. By virtue of that, the new champion and the number 1 who will be on CVMTV's cast of analysts for World Cup 2010 out of Hillel Academy in Cherry Garden, St. Andrew, Simon Preston. And the congratulations can't be too much for him. I'm sure Narando would want to offer his own congratulations to Simon. Well played, good sportsmanship. And can I tell you, in TV land, all 16 contestants became friends because of this. And that is what we really wanted from this, in addition to picking that ultimate analyst. They've become good friends, touch base with each other, and other things which I won't tell you about, but they've become good friends. Let's leave it at that. We're going to go for another break, and when we come back, it will be time for the prize giving. Come to the end of the series Set Play here on CVM TV. From my point of view, it was a really good series. Once again, congratulations to Simon Preston out of Hillel Academy for winning the grand final. He will be the man on CVM TV's set of analysts for World Cup 2010. We're now at the segment where the contestants will be given the fruits of their labor. It's the prize giving segment. of the grand finale. And we're going to kick this segment off tonight. All 4 semi-final qualifiers here will be presented with gift baskets. And to do the honors for us tonight, let's welcome the Human Resource Manager at CVM-TV, Ms. Karen Anderson, to present the 4 semi-final qualifiers with gift baskets. Mr. Ronald Sutherland, the Vice President, Sales and Marketing, will be giving the 4 semi-final qualifiers iPods. Could you believe it? Let's have Ronnie. Congratulations. Thanks, Mr. Sutherland. Jackie Hamilton, Manager of Promotion and Sponsorship. She's going to be handing out some very special prizes to Narando and, of course, the champion, Simon Preston. $10,000. Congratulations. And Preston, $20,000. Thank you so much, Jackie Hamilton. And to present to the finalists, the education grants, one of course for $50,000 and one for $25,000. No prize for telling who will get what. Mr. Julian Walker from Supreme Ventures Limited. So Narando, $25,000, placing second, and Simon, $50,000. Julian, thanks so much. Paula Pinnock McLeod, Sports and Sponsorship Manager, will be making her way up to present 2 BlackBerry mobile handsets, courtesy of Digicel. All right, the big one, the championship trophy from CVM-TV to the winner of Set Play 2010, Simon Preston. Ronnie Sutherland will make the presentation.